Here we are back in the shop, and today we're going to process this Allan organ board. It was sent in to us by D-Scrapper to see how much gold is inside, so let's crack into it and let's find out. So here we are at the outdoor fume hood. Now we have that board broke down into its individual processes. Yeah, you wouldn't think there'd be so many processes involved with one board, but let's talk about it for a second. You're gonna have those gold fingers everybody knows and loves. We're gonna get those guys in a little beaker running by themselves. You're gonna have the center. Now that is a plastic epoxy around those transistors and so on and so forth. So we're gonna wanna go ahead and burn those just like IC chips. And we have the main star of the show. That's right, it's these ceramic chips right here. There's nothing too terribly shabby about these guys, but again, the caps weren't coming off of them, so we're just gonna leave them on there and we'll work through the process. You can have some resistors as well, and those guys really don't have any precious metals to speak of. You have a couple of these silver disc capacitors, ceramic disc capacitors, whatever you guys want to call them. There's two of them. It's not really worth running. So we're going to take these chips and we're going to put them in a beaker right here, and we're going to get you guys over here in the phone stand. And so what are we going to do with them chips? Well, you can run it a myriad of different ways, but today we're going to go ahead and we're going to just do a poor man's nitric. And if anybody's wondering what a poor man's nitric is, it's nothing more than your good old sulfuric acid right here, a little bit of distilled water, and a nitrate salt of some kind. I use potassium nitrate because that's what I have, but sodium nitrate works just as well. So what's going to happen is it's going to chew up these base metals that reside inside of these chips, and it's going to leave the gold behind. And any gold bond wires or flashing that resides in the center of them, you could crush them up, but I learned that there's not a whole lot on the inside of the ceramic itself. So we're going to just run them whole and see what happens. All right, now that we got the chips in the beaker, we're gonna go ahead and just cover the material with distilled water. Yeah, it's important to use distilled water when you're messing around with this. If you have any free chlorine in your tap water or municipal water source, you are gonna regret it. It is going to cause a weak form of aqua regia, and then in turn put gold in a solution. It can muck around with everything else, so why risk the biscuit? Just go ahead and cover the material with some distilled water. Now we're gonna introduce our acid. It is always important. Make sure you do as you oughta and you add your acids to water. That's right, when you do this, it's gonna cause its own heat and its own reaction. So you guys wanna take it careful. Make sure you have your fume hood in place. Doing this outside, proper PPE and everything else. So now that we have about 350 mils of solution between the distilled water and the sulfuric acid, you notice there's not too terribly much happening yet, and that's okay. You can see some bubbles, there is going to be some reaction, and there is going to be some heat that is produced. So that is the sulfuric working on some of the base metals. But we're going to kick it up a notch, and we're going to go ahead and add just a little bit of our nitrate salt right here. So it's going to go ahead and it's going to kick it in gear. We're going to have sulfuric and we're going to have nitric acid working on those chips simultaneously. We're not going to put it on heat yet because this will produce its own heat, but as it starts to wane off a little bit, we will turn the heat on just to continue the reaction down the tracks. Now we have the gold fingers. There's not many, but we want to get a real accurate count on what's inside of this board. So we're going to do the same course of action. Why not? We're already here. We already have everything out. So we're just going to rinse and repeat. It's your shop. Do as you wish, as long as you do it safely. So we're going to get these guys down the tracks. It shouldn't need more than that to peel the gold off of them foils, and we'll come back when something is happening. So now we have all that beautiful random gold bearing material sitting down in the pan. Now how are we going to ash that? You need to ash it out and break up that plastic to unlock the gold bond wires inside. Well, we're going to go ahead and heat it up in our good old-fashioned cast iron pan. All right, so we got our material down in the bottom of the beaker. There is a little bit of a rust. It's unfavorable from the cast iron pan, but what are you guys going to do? You got to make sure that you get it all in there. Again, it's going to be a little unfavorable when you're working with the nitric acid, but that's okay. It's already rust. It's already in there. So what are we going to do with this material? Well, we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and put 50 mils. Let's just go about 50 to 100 mils of liquid in there to start off with. Nothing much. We don't want to really bang-in reaction happening down inside of there right off the bat. All we want to do is slowly pull the base metals out of there. So how are we going to do that? Well, you can do it a lot of different ways. Muriatic acid would be one way. Nitric acid is another way, and we're going to choose to go nitric acid. So we're only going to add a couple mils. It doesn't really need to be that strong to pull the base metals out. Again, you can use less expensive poor man's nitric. You can use muriatic acid. It's all about your time and your expense. How long do you want to take doing it, and how expensive? And here we are, we're back in the shop. What do I mean by we're back? Well, me and my business partner, proud to be country, just got done traipsing across the whole central United States. Yeah, we did 13 states, 8 days, hundreds of hours of driving, and thousands of miles logged. But that's nothing compared to all the wonderful people we were able to meet along the way. So alas, here we are. We're back out in the fume hood. And what do we have? Well, all this stuff, keep in mind, has been sitting here for over a month while we got back and got things sorted out. We have the chips. They look great. We have all the gold foils. We learned that there was no gold bond wires inside. So we're going to pour this solution off, give it a quick rinse, and then we're going to bring it to Aqua Regia. Now, here is the center cluster of stuff that was there. We incinerated it. We crushed it. This is the third dilute nitric acid bath that material has received. And again, it's been sitting there for a very long time. If there was any other residual base metals that resided in this material, it would then be in solution. Now we have the fingers as well. As you guys can see, it's a little darker. Well, that's because they kind of disappeared, but they didn't disappear. What happened? Well, let's talk about that. So although all the gold foils you're going to work with are a carated gold of some sort, whether it be, 8 carat, 10 carat, 12 carat, 14, some higher end material has higher carat. But at some point in time, it will dissolve. It will, especially when you have it in poor man's or dilute nitric. Eventually that nitric will work its way in between the gold molecules, pulling out any other base metals. So what do you do if you come back and your foils are completely gone? Well, I put just a little bit of hydrochloric acid, and just a little bit. What does that do effectively? Well, that kicks into solution any microfine gold that you would otherwise not be able to trap. Now, is it an ideal situation? No. But is it perfect solution for that issue? Absolutely. So if you do have any of those issues where your foils have disappeared into solution, that is potentially a way to triage the situation and recover them. All right, so now if you look down at the bottom of the beaker, those foils look great. They look nice and clean. The gold legs are still there around there as well, and we got it pretty well rinsed off. So what are we going to do now? Well, we're going to put a little bit of hydrochloric acid on there, and we'll for surely kick a little bit of gold in solution, but that's the point. We're going to see how much gold will actually go into solution before we start adding arbitrary amounts of nitric. It's going to cause problems if you over nox your solutions down the road. It's a guarantee. So let's go ahead, let's get to it. Now it's the next day and everything looks great. These chips look like we have managed to get all the gold out. There's a little bit of an impurity in there. You can see a little cloudiness. Might be a little silver chloride. You don't know, but we'll filter that off. Now the center package that we had, we crushed and burnt. It looks great. There's a lot of gold signature in the test we had. Now we have this. What is this down here? You may be asking yourself. Well, whenever I do extractions, I make sure I let the material settle down. And now to my unexpert opinion, this looks like some gold. And now how are we going to test for that gold? Well, we knew we had some nitric in here. already that existed. So all we're going to have to do is we siphoned off the fluid, and then we'll just put a little muriatic acid. If there's no gold inside of here whatsoever, then there's not a loss. There's not a loss. But if there is a little gold inside of there, then that's going to interact with the residual nitric and the muriatic we just added, and it's going to create aqua regia. And then we'll be able to get a signature for some gold. So we're going to let this sit for a minute, do its thing. We'll come back and give it a test in a moment. Here we are only moments after letting that muriatic acid interact with that material. Again, it's important to test your material because you just never know where there's a little extra hidden gold. And isn't that the point in refining all this stuff in the first place, is collecting up as much gold as we possibly can for our time and effort. Now, if there is anybody new in the house, what kind of signature are you looking for in this test? You're looking for a dark purple to black color. The stronger it is, the quicker it turns, the more gold there is in solution. But we're looking for any signature whatsoever. And as we introduce the stannous chloride, you can see that it's changing color. There we go. We have a signature for gold. So that means there was absolutely gold in that material. If you didn't allow that material to settle down and test it, you would be getting rid of all of your gold. So now we're going to go ahead and let that relax and work and do its thing. We're going to let it catch up with the other aqua regia we have back here. We're going to add all three of them together, and we'll get with you guys after we're done doing that. And we've managed to condense down all what we feel to be the recoverable gold in that whole board down into that 500 mils of solution. And it kicked off for a really nice test. I realized that we did not do a test on all of this in front of the camera, so let's go ahead and just do one now. If anybody again is new to the house and you guys don't know what you're looking for when you're testing for gold in solution, you're looking for it to turn a dark purple black color. The quicker it turns, it can signify more gold in solution. Sometimes it takes longer because you might have more nitric, but let's go ahead and give it a go. And look at that right there, 1 drop of your stannous chloride solution that you made. And if you don't know how to make your own test solution, go ahead and hit up that video I have in my library. And now the next step. The next step is getting the lead out. How are we going to do that? Well, you can do that a couple different ways. First and foremost, I suggest using sulfamic acid. Now, sulfamic acid is going to be a 2-for-1 shot. Not only is it going to interact with any potential residual nitric acid, but it's also going to go ahead and turn into sulfuric acid along its way. You'll see some fizzing if you do have any residual, and we don't see any, but we're going to go ahead and bring it back up to the original 500 mils of solution. Now again, make sure that is an absolutely saturated solution of sulfamic acid. That means that no more will mix into your solution, and you will have some laying down at the bottom. Now, why did we evaporate that off just to reconstitute it? Well, because gold does like to drop out of a dilute solution. What is going to be a follow-up step? We were working with some vintage material. We know vintage material is going to have a potential for lead. So in order to work with that lead and get it out of our gold, we're going to add some additional sulfuric acid just in case there wasn't enough nitric acid still left in the solution to interact with the sulfamic acid. I know it's just a backup, it's a redundancy because we worked very hard to get this gold to where it's at. Now we're going to let this solution cool down, and we're going to go ahead and filter it off. That sulfuric that we introduced is going to interact with any lead that may potentially be in there and turn it to lead sulfate, and it's insoluble, so we'll be able to capture it in the final filtration before we go to the next step. So here we are, we're at that moment that everybody's been waiting for. We're going to drop that gold. And how are we going to drop it? You can use a lot of different things to drop your gold, but today we're going to use sodium metabisulfite. You can find it anywhere, look it up, it works great. It will want to drop the PGMs along the way, but that's okay. We'll figure that out along the way. I don't think we had very much for PGMs as we tested it. Now, how are we going to do this? You can do it with a liquid solution, but I prefer to just go ahead and start adding it in there. We're going to go ahead and keep going. We're going to watch for a color change. We're also going to watch for white foam on top of the solution. There may be a little extra nitric, but we did a really good job denoxing it, so we're just going to keep going with it. Give her a little stir and watch for that color change. right, well, it's the next day, and as you can see, the gold is settled nicely. It's starting to off-gas a little bit as it warms up with the morning sun, but we went ahead and did a test, and it's completely negative. A little brown, maybe from due to excess as sulfur dioxide. Who knows? But it's definitely not a gold. So we're gonna get this gold washed up like we normally do. We'll get her melted down, and let's see how much is in the bottom of that beaker. So we got that all melted down, and what did we get? Well, we got 1.8 grams of some pretty nice looking gold. We're fighting the shadows right now, you guys, but it turned out pretty stellar. So was it worth processing this single board for the cost of the acids and the time? Well, only you can be the judge to that. D, I hope you got the answers you're looking for. To my wife, I love you. To my kids, go wash your face.